And we're live. Excellent. We're live to the world. I'm absolutely really privileged today, and a good person I've just met quite recently, but I got a bit of a connection with him. It's Russ Hedge. And today we're going to be talking about, my podcast is mindful leadership. And I speak to some amazing people from around the globe that have a really good story to tell, that are into their own business or they help and look after other businesses. They're very insightful. They have a great business and it's something really interesting to say. So today, without further ado, I'd just like to introduce Russ. He's been in sales and marketing for over the last 30 years, similar to myself, really. I've been into sales and marketing over experience, and has a unique style of developing a networking system that helps connect people in a more authentic way. And that's how we basically met. So Russ, look, hopefully I've given you some sort of credibility there, and I'm sure I have, but give us a little bit of an insight to yourself.
Well, first of all, Jason, I got to tell you, it feels like we've known each other forever. You are such a great guy, and I honestly mean that. It's been just a pleasure to get to know you so far, and just your perspective on life that I've received in the short time we've known each other, just awesome. And so I really appreciate people like you, because people like you give me the energy to be the way that I am. And I've always been known as a super inspirational, encouraging kind of guy. I'm just a positive force. And I just think, we all have a choice in life, right? Things happen, life happens, and then we get to choose to deal with it. And I figure, why not choose the positive, right? And so that's really where I come from. And my wife would call me, my beautiful wife of almost 33 years, Leah, she would call me a hopeless optimist. That I am always, she'll give me any situation and I will find the positive, optimistic view of the situation. So anyway, and that's where I come from with connecting with people, as you and I've connected, because I really think authenticity, I know that's a big buzzword nowadays, but authenticity is so vital, so important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because people want to know the real you.
Yeah. And I totally am bought into that. And there's something that's one of my beliefs and values, really. It's really being yourself. And that's what authenticity is. Saying what you do, saying what you mean, and get people to like you and trust you, because that's all around the same thing. And just be yourself, really. Just be a nice, genuine guy, interested in other people, listen, understand, and find out about them, really. And that's pretty much how we connected. Can you tell me a little bit about your story from where you got to and how we met, really? And it might be a long fluted question, really, but just give me touch points along the way.
Let's see, where do we want to start? I was born in Salem, Oregon, and I'm back here. No, actually, my story, let's put it this way. I'm just going to tell you that I was a blessed young man to have a wonderful family and incredible parents who poured into me. My father's passed away now, and my mother is dealing with Alzheimer's. And I think you might have seen my happy moments with Mama, Jason, that I do, because yes. It's really, it just brings so much joy to me and so many people. My mom, so she's in a memory care. But the point is that their influence on my life, I mean, they're my heroes. They're the ones that have driven me, that have given me opportunity to do anything I wanted to do. And I have always been, from the time I've been a child, the crazy guy that does everything. I mean, I'm doing 3 sports, I'm doing music and drama, I'm doing everything that I could do, right? And so I love that. And they gave me every opportunity to do that. So, fast forward into adult life. I am married. I have a beautiful wife of almost 33 years. I have 2 wonderful children. My daughter, happy birthday, Kyla. Today is her 30th
birthday.
30 years old. And
July, just so when people are listening to this, just so they know, it's the 28th of July today. So that's a great day. Right.
Yes, it's a great day. And I can't believe she's 30, because I'm only 35. So I don't know how that happened. But anyway, she and my son, I have a 27-year-old son, very musical family. So music has always driven us, very creative family. And we also all just really love people. And my heart is to connect and know people. I really, that's what I'm all about, and everything that I've always done. The purpose and my why I get up in the morning is to add value and connect and love on people. So there you go. So fast forward to where we are now. And I've been in sales and marketing for over 30 years, also a licensed pastor, been in ministry, which is great. Very similar. Sales and marketing and ministry, real similar. They're all about people. Mm-hmm. And then COVID happened, and just did what everybody's talking about today, and that's pivoting.
Yeah,
I'd actually already started what I'm doing. I already started on the side, getting my coaching, getting my consulting, doing podcasts, doing things like that. And so really God just launched me into it full time. I just, took the plunge, and some days I am so excited, and some days I'm like most entrepreneurs, and I'm scared to death.
I totally understand that. Some days it's going, well, what am I going to do today? What do I have to do to create value and give back? And from what I've seen, you've accelerated so quickly from there. You're going, it's probably the wrong side. It's that way. Yeah. So you've done really, really well. And you connected with so many wonderful people in such a short space of time. What made you want to do that? What made you want to get into this space right now?
Well, it's really my passion, my heart. You mentioned the know, like, and trust factor, which has always been a huge theme for me. Yeah. I love to get to know people and get them to like me, because everybody wants people to like them and to trust me, that so I can help them. That's what I'm all about. I want to help and encourage people. I'm the kind of guy, I wake up in the morning, and, after I have my morning routine of some quiet time and prayer and all that, I go right into, usually I put a Facebook encouragement. Well, I don't usually. Every single morning I put a Facebook encouragement on my Facebook page. I do a thing called the word of the day that I put on Instagram every day. And that's an encouraging word on Instagram. It's a little video. I also reach out and I've lately fallen into not just texting, but actually video texting. Jason, I think you and I have sent a couple.
Did, and I must admit, that's absolutely wonderful. Put a big smile on my face, and I should be doing that as well. So someone taught me how to do that a while back, and I'm going, I really have to do that. And I did that this morning to someone else that I haven't spoken to for ages. They went, hey, how you doing? Jason here, just checking in on you. Have a great day. And that really lifts you up. It makes such a difference, and it's hugely impactful just for people that you haven't spoken to for a while, or new people that you're trying to connect with. So right. I love that.
Yeah, I that was totally I don't know. I think most of my thoughts and my actions, probably not most, all of my thoughts and actions are driven by the Lord. But I got this God thought, like, hey, I have this video capability. Why not do that? And I just started doing it. I probably saw other people doing it. That's probably where, I thought of it too. But it's been so much fun, because it does, as it lifts other people up, as people send messages back to me and say, hey, that really made my day. I really needed that this morning. It makes my day. It lifts me up. It makes me feel good. And I think we need to put out what we want back. And I think we need to always look to give and be thoughtful about other people if we want them to give back and be thoughtful about us. And so I'm a big talker, but I try my best to listen and really pay attention to what people, where they're at, what's going on, and what I can do for them.
It sounds to me that you're a naturally gifted marketeer, and hence your podcast, which we'll talk about in a few moments. But it's really for me to really find out more about you, because I'm intrigued about your process. How do you actually deal with the tough times or adversity when things don't quite go to plan? What do you actually do?
Well, it's interesting, because I think everybody has their own way of dealing with things. I've been blessed with the ability for most things that hit me, roll off pretty quickly. I've got pretty thick skin, and of course we all get affected by adversity and things that happen, but I seem to recover very quickly, faster than most. I have developed a perspective that I can't control other people. I can't control other situations. Right. I can only control myself. And so my attitude and how I look at it is my choice. And so that's basically, I choose to look at the good side of things. And that's where I get really a positive feeling no matter what's happened to me. So like we were talking this morning, I have a prayer group that I met with before this, and they were talking about, we can't be happy about all things, but we can be joyful and happy in all things, because no matter what's going on, we still have the choice how to deal with that. And yes, there's stuff happens that's horrible, that we're not happy about, that we don't like, but I choose to be happy. And so that's what I do. And yeah, I deal with it like everybody else. I have that adversity, but I keep it positive.
That's really interesting. And I suppose prayer, in a way, I don't want to go too religious down that path, but it's almost like an affirmation, really, in a way. Because I meditate and I try and put positive thoughts and affirmations, which is almost like a prayer in itself. You speak the word of God and you speak the word of in a good sense and in good light. And you come across as a really sort of nice, genuine person. So saying good, positive things back to yourself, wherever it goes into the world or the ether or up to a higher level, but it comes back to you as well. So that's fascinating. So I'm intrigued by that.
Well, I heard a fabulous person talking about this. I don't know if it was John Maxwell, can't remember, but they basically said you need to start talking to yourself and stop letting your thoughts and your anxieties consume you. Because from the moment we wake up, right off the bat, we're worrying about what's going to happen that day, what we're going to do, things are going to happen. So the only way to change that is to be intentional about our thoughts and what we're thinking. So what I do, I have developed a habit, and this is for me, it works really good for me. And that habit is the moment I wake up, the first thing I do is I am thankful. I'm thankful for God. I'm thankful for my beautiful wife. I'm thankful for my family. The second thing I do is to say, I've got this. I know with God's help, I'm going to move forward. I've got this day. I can do it. And the third thing I say is today is going to be an awesome day, because I'm going to do this at the get-go to make it awesome.
That is incredible. I love that. You can do lots of good habits stacking on that for other areas in your life. So another area that I'm interested in. But how do you deal with other people that are maybe not quite on the same wavelength? How do you deal with them on their wavelengths, and how do you bring them back to where you need to be them, especially if you're coaching or you're teaching or whatever, you're inspiring others to do that? Because not everyone's going to see that from their point of view. How do you cope with that?
Well, first of all, I try to be really careful, because I can tend to be overbearing happy. And sometimes my wife will say, whoa, pony, slow down. It's all good. I get a little too, enthusiastic. So sometimes I just have to kind of temper where I'm at and really listen. I think the key to what you just said is listening to where people are coming from. You and I were having a conversation about something that happened in your life with a friend that was not a happy situation. Yep. And we need to be thoughtful, thinking about that, and be empathetic and sympathetic to what's going on in a person's life. And life is not all sunshine and roses.
Yeah,
but that doesn't mean that we can't come around to the positive point. And that is, yes, sometimes we need to grieve. Sometimes we need to have some downtime and some, quiet moments. People that know me will say, are you ever like sad or depressed or anything? And obviously we all have downtime, and we all have things that happen. Usually I use up most of my whoop whoop happy time throughout the day, and then I'm quiet at night and in the morning. But anyway, that's really what I try to do, is listen. That's the key to your question, is listen and just meet the person where they are, and then try to direct them to the good point.
And what do you think other people's what challenges are other people facing right now? I know there's COVID, so that's number one. But what do you think? How do you think other people are dealing with it, and how do you think you can sort of add value back to that with Russ Hedge, your consulting business, and what you're doing right now? How do you think you can add value back into that?
Well, I think a big thing is we can just be there. I mean, after we listen, we can be there for people, because, we can say a lot, but we need our words to be followed up with action. And I think the best action we can do for people is be there. So in a coaching business, I'm there to answer questions. I'm there to direct them. I'm there to help them. And a lot of times just encourage them and then hold them accountable for what they want to do. I really feel like a lot of coaching is really pulling out of people what's already deep inside them, helping them to see what they really want to do and where they want to go, and then help them get there. A lot of times you don't have to create it. You just have to find it within them.
Yeah, I agree. It's asking lots of questions and listening intently to their answers, the body language. And I always go for the face and seeing what's going on in there, and the eyes and seeing where they're going, because the face actually speaks volumes. Like our body language is the communication tool anyway. So if you listen and see what's going on in front of you, I've got a good idea where I need to go with that. So if you had a superpower, I'm drifting on here, what would your superpower be? How would you use it?
Well, it would totally be encouragement, to encourage and inspire people. That would be, that is what God has gifted me with in all that I do. And it's funny you bring up facial expressions. So we might talk about it more, but the hashtag Russ selfie that I've been done for years is so much fun. And my favorite face is.
I saw that. I've seen that. Yeah. Very good.
And my daughter loves that too. So in today's birthday thing on Facebook, a couple pictures of her from the time she was little going, it's an excited, expectant face.
Yeah.
And so what you want to get across to people is that you're excited about life. You're expecting good things. And so then they start to think, hey, I'm excited about life. I'm expecting good things too. And a lot of times it's just telling somebody like you, Jason, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, you are a great guy. We've only known each other for a while, but I think I'm a good judge of character, and I have got nothing but positive from you.
My head's getting really big here. Thank you. I appreciate that.
But it's so true. And so, just by telling people how you feel, it makes them feel good. It encourages them. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to be snowing someone over or feeding them full of a bunch of BS. And, the truth be known, I do have a BS in communications from Oregon State University. And so I joke about that when I teach and coach. But you don't have to be doing that. You can be genuine. And I think people see that. People see sincerity. They see when you're genuine with them.
Thank you. I'm honored by you saying that. I probably lost for words now. I'm never usually lost for words, but I honestly mean that. I'm moving on forward a little bit. I know we spoke a little bit before the podcast, is talking about your creative space. And I gave you a description of a documentary I saw fairly recently. It's on the BBC, and they're talking about all these big bands like Led Zeppelin went to this farm out in the countryside in the UK. It's in Wales, and it was like they built a studio there, and Led Zeppelin did the best recording that they ever did because they had that space. And then other bands went in there, like Queen did Bohemian Rhapsody in these spaces. And then you got the other bands, some of the bands that you might not know of, Oasis and Coldplay, which you might know. And every single band that's gone there have created something really quite special because they had that space and time alone just to get on with it. And they just did. So the question back to you is, where is your creative space and how do you utilize it?
So I am a super early morning guy. So normally I'm up between 4 and 5 a.m. Oh. Early to rise, early to sleep, though, because I do fall asleep early too. But
really early, yeah.
So morning time, I've developed a great routine. Some of my most intentional best time is in the morning. I'm very productive. So my creative space starts with, once I do my little thing getting out of bed that I was telling you about, then I actually go right to it. I immediately go to my office. I have quiet time. I meditate. I pray. I journal. I just let my thoughts kind of roll and get myself organized. And then I actually have a, basically, I guess you would call it a positive affirmation / goal / thankfulness journal that I write what I'm going to do, what I'm going to accomplish, how I'm going to do that. After that, I either go to a club and bike and swim, which is awesome and very peaceful. And every day I walk with my dog. And so we'll walk a couple miles. And that all of that time just gives me time to get my creative juices flowing, to be thinking, to be processing. And then honestly, when I hit the ground running, I go 100 miles an hour from there. And sometimes not sometimes, that always makes me more creative throughout the day too, because then I run into people like Jason Cooper who give me new ideas and great things. And I have learned so much in this short amount of time. I have learned so much, and I've been blessed by so many people because I'm just, paying attention throughout the day. So that's really where I go. The morning time is really my best creative space, and outdoors walking and all of that.
I read a book recently, and they spoke about the types of people that they have a good moment in for getting into flow state or the creative space. So certain people it's the morning, other people it's the afternoon, but they did a research on the whole journey throughout the day, like 3 o'clock slump. But after the 3 o'clock slump, you go back into the creative stage in the early evening. So it's fascinating to hear that and how you do that. One last question is, if you had an abundance of money and cash came to you, what would you do and give back? How would you obviously process that, or hey, party time or whatever, but how would you go, and how would you go about going, well, what can I do with this now to sort of buy into tech or do whatever to give back or whatever you deem to be true?
So let me tell you, first of all, that I would rephrase that question and say, when I get a bunch of cash inflow, because one of my largest goals, my wife and I really try to be givers and helpers. And one of our largest goals is to be able to give and help other people, which we do, but we want to be able to give and help on a larger scale. That is really what drives me. I would like to finish paying off my kids' student loans. I'd like to pay off their mortgages on their houses. I would like to help family. I would like to have friends that come to me and need a car because they can't get somewhere, buy them a car. These are the things that drive me. So that is what I would do. With that also, I would love to get a little bit more family travel time. The favorite thing that our family has done over the years is travel. We've been blessed to be a lot of different places together. And we call ourselves the Hedge Family 4, another hashtag Hedge Family 4. We've traveled a lot. We've been to Hawaii and to Canada and to Florida and New York and the Caribbean and a lot of places together, and just been such a blessed time. And that's what I love, because it's all about family time and doing something fun together.
I agree. I totally wholeheartedly agree with family time, seeing your family as much as you can. Unfortunately, I can't see my parents because they're in England and I'm in Ireland, but I will get to see them at some stage, I hope, later on this year. So, Russ, can you tell me about how people can find you? Basically, I know you're doing podcasts as well, which is awesome, but please present that now to the world and to the audience.
Oh, you bet. Well, the easiest way to get a hold of me is russhedge.com. That's pretty simple. So my name is on my logo above my head there, russhedge.com, and that has links to all of my social media. And I am huge on social media: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. I never used to be a LinkedIn fan until about the last year, and I have found the gigantic benefits of LinkedIn and connection with people. It's been great. So anyway, all of those things are on my site. It also has a link to my podcast, to blogs and things that I do. And people can go straight to social media too. Most of my social media is at Russ Hedge or at rhedge1, but you just look at my name and it pops up. I have been so excited about the ability to connect with people like you, Jason, all around the world. And so no matter where you are listening, please connect with me. Don't let boundaries slow you down or distance slow you down. In fact, I've just recently connected with some family in Norway I'm super excited about via social media. So the other thing, you asked me about my podcast. And so my podcast is called Marketing with Russ. aka hashtag Russ Selfie. So I have been known in my local area in Oregon for this selfie, and it's a ton of fun. Some people call me Mr. Selfie. It's, you know, a funny name, but it's just been so much fun because I have found it brings so much joy to people. So I wanted to bring that joy of the selfie and everybody jumping into pictures and giving funny faces, like, and I wanted to bring that into the podcast. So
that's hashtag Russ Selfie.
Yes, RUSSSELFIE spelled out. And so 2 S's in my name. So actually you end up with 3 S's there, RUSSSELFIE. So anyway, so the fun part about the podcast is I've just started that. And one of these days I aspire to be as good as Jason. But my goal is to connect with amazing people that connect. And so I am jumping all around, from people that have been in the military to people that are in ministry to people that are in Australia, connecting with 366 people one a day throughout this entire year, connecting with people that are in all facets of life, nonprofit, for-profit, but how they actually connect with people. That's what it's all about. People driven, connection driven. So I'm having a ton of fun. Next week, just to let people know, I'm going to 2 per week. So they're released Pacific Standard Time, Monday, 8 a.m. And next week will also be Thursday, 8 a.m. So there'll be 2 per week.
Wow, that's incredible. And from what you've done this year, you've achieved gigantic amounts of feed forward, as I'd say, giving so much. So today, I really, really appreciate your time and effort that you've done, because we're 8 hours different. So for you, you've probably been up 4 or 5 hours already by the sound of it. But I really appreciate that. And my talk today with Russ Hedge on mindful leadership, and you will see this in the next week or so. And I'm really looking forward to pushing this out to the world. Thank you again.
Hey, I appreciate you so much. Thanks for having me on.